The Declaration of Helsinki is a set of ethical principles developed by the World Medical Association, WMA, to guide physicians and researchers conducting medical research involving human subjects. It was first adopted in 1964 in Helsinki, Finland. That's why it's called the Helsinki Declaration. Key points about it: it emphasizes respect for individuals, their right to make informed decisions, informed consent, and the need to prioritize the well-being of research participants over the interests of science and society. It lays out standards for clinical research, including risk-benefit analysis, ethics committee review, and protection of vulnerable groups. It has been revised several times, most recently in 2013, to keep up with new ethical challenges in medicine. Would you like me to summarize the main principles for you as well? Here's a simple summary of the main principles of the Declaration of Helsinki. 1. Respect for individuals. Every person must be respected, including their right to make decisions freely, especially through informed consent. 2. Patient welfare first. The health, well-being, and rights of the research participant must always come before the interests of science and society. 3. Scientific and ethical standards. Research must be based on sound scientific knowledge and follow proper ethical guidelines. 4. Risk versus benefit. Research can only proceed if the benefits outweigh the risks to the participants. 5. Vulnerable groups. Extra care must be taken when working with vulnerable groups, e.g., children, prisoners, people unable to give consent. 6. Informed consent. Participants must be fully informed about the research and voluntarily agree to participate. 7. Independent review. Research protocols must be reviewed and approved by an independent ethics committee before starting. 8. Privacy and confidentiality. The privacy of participants must be protected and personal information kept confidential. 9. Use of placebo. Placebos should not be used when effective treatment exists unless there's a strong scientific reason and no additional risk to participants. 10. Post-study access. After the study, participants should have access to any beneficial interventions identified by the research. 11. Publication and transparency. Researchers have a duty to publish results, positive or negative, and must ensure the study is registered before it starts. Would you like me to also give you a very quick example of how it applies in real life? It usually makes it even clearer. Here's a quick real-life style example. Suppose a company develops a new drug for treating rheumatoid arthritis. Before they can test it on humans, they must design a proper scientific plan and prove in the lab and animals that it's reasonably safe. Submit the plan to an independent ethics committee for approval. Fully inform the volunteer patients about the study, including possible risks and benefits, and get their written consent. Minimize risks. For example, if an effective treatment already exists, they cannot give a placebo unless absolutely necessary and safe. After the study, if the new drug proves effective, they should help patients get access to it even before it hits the market. They must publish the results honestly, even if the drug doesn't work as hoped. All these steps reflect the principles of the Helsinki Declaration, ensuring that human dignity and patient safety come first, not profits or scientific curiosity. Would you also like a small diagram or flowchart that shows this visually? It can be very handy if you're studying or teaching. Excellent point. The Declaration of Helsinki wasn't frozen in time after 1964. It has been updated several times to keep pace with new ethical challenges. Here's a brief timeline of the main versions and updates. 1. First version, 1964, Helsinki, Finland. The original declaration focused on basic ethical principles for medical research on humans. 2. First revision, 1975, Tokyo, Japan. Introduced the need for independent ethical review, ethics committees, highlighted special protection for vulnerable groups. 3. Second revision, 1983, Venice, Italy. Strengthened requirements for informed consent. 4. Third revision, 1989, Hong Kong, added more details about clinical trials and protecting participants' rights. 5. Fourth revision, 1996, Somerset West, South Africa, focused on use of placebos and issues related to unproven interventions. 6. Fifth revision, 2000, Edinburgh, Scotland. Very important update. Strict rules on the use of placebos. Added the principle of post-trial access. Patients have a right to access effective treatments after the study. MOS 7. Clarification, 2002, Washington, USA. A note of clarification about placebo use. Allowed a bit more flexibility in specific conditions. 8. Second clarification, 2004, Tokyo, Japan. Another clarification on placebo-controlled trials. 9. Sixth revision, 2008, Seoul, South Korea. Emphasized transparency, trial registration before starting and publishing results after finishing. 10. Seventh revision, 2013, Fortaleza, Brazil. Latest major update, clearer rules for compensating participants harmed during research. Stronger obligation for post-trial access. Emphasized scientific validity and social value of research. In short, 1964, birth of the Declaration. 1975, 2013, a series of revisions and clarifications, mainly adding stronger protections for patients, tighter rules on placebos, better consent processes, ethics committees, transparency, and post-trial care.